15 must-see photos of Amy Jackson, the hottest woman you've never heard of. Amy Jackson is one of the hottest women in the world. You may not have ever heard of Amy Jackson, unless you are from India of course, where she is officially a goddess. But, here is the thing. She is not from India, she is from England, where she is a former winner of the Miss Teen World competition. Now, however, she is a huge Bollywood star and starred in one of the most high-budget films in India, a movie called I, which grossed $33 million worldwide. Indian men are in love with her and she is treated like royalty in India. When at home in Liverpool she lets her Cockney accent fly and most people don't know who she is, but in India she is a superstar. Oh yeah, and did we mention that she is hot? Because she is. And I am not talking the normal sort of hot, oh no. I am talking the type of hot that is world-class and amazing. Well, I guess it is the kind of hot that would take a chick from England and turn her into a huge star in India, that kind of hot. But hey, don't take my word for it, check out these photos, because in a piece like this my words are purely secondary to the hotness that Amy is putting out. So check it out, won't you? Here are 15 of the hottest photos you could possibly find of Amy Jackson on the internet. 15. Introducing. So yeah, there you go. This might possibly give you an idea why guys all over India have it bad for Amy Jackson. She is a classic beauty, and totally hot besides. She had done no acting before her first role in 2010 and did not speak any Hindi. But hey, when you are this hot, who really cares? She could speak Martian and people would still want to see her in a movie. A director from India named ALVJ saw Amy's modeling picture after she won the Miss Teen World and he offered her the starring role in a movie. She was 17 at the time. Only a director can get away with something like that. Oh hey, I know you have never acted, and you are not yet 18, but want to be a star in a movie. By the way, for any teenage girls out there, if someone says this to you they are lying. 14. She can't be photoshopped. Here is another mind-blowing photo of Amy, in which she looks, well, mind-blowing. Amy was obviously a tad surprised when she was asked to be in a movie, especially one that was being filmed in India. She says, "I'd never acted in my life. ALVJ asked if I could dance and I just said yes. I didn't tell him the only dancing I had done was on nights out in Liverpool. He said he would arrange workshops and help me with the scripts and the language. He liked the fact that I was English but had an Indian look. I am sure that is what he liked, although I imagine he liked quite a few other things as well. I have to be honest, when I look at a photo of Amy it is pretty impossible to find something that I don't like." 13. Backside. As you can see, Amy is just fabulous from pretty much every angle. I have to say, if I had a budget and could pay Amy millions to be in a movie I would do it, too. Anyone want to invest? At one point she and her mom went to India to meet some other people in the movie and to try on costumes. Amy says of this time, "I'd never been to India or anywhere like it. There were cows wandering through the city. In the car on the way to the hotel I noticed Mum was grabbing onto the sides as we went in and out of traffic with the horn beeping. At one point a cow crossed the road in front of us and she screamed. Yeah, I don't know about that. I live in Maine and we tend not to get all that scared of cows, but to each his own." 12. At the gym. As you can see here, Amy is in pretty good shape, and by that I mean she looks amazing. I wonder what kind of diet she's on to look so good. Well, at first when she went to India, she did not eat anything at all as it took her quite a while to get used to the food. She said, "At the start I couldn't eat anything. I didn't like the spice. I loved having Indian takeaways on a Friday night in Liverpool, but it's so different in the real India." I imagine this is true. Having a smiling waiter in an urban setting hand you your chicken saag and veggie pakkoras with a glass of Malbec probably does compare so much to eating with your hands in India, where they do the spices for real and they are definitely not mellowed out for Western consumption. 11. Running on the beach. Here is another amazing photo of Amy, although I imagine pretty much any photo of her fits into that category. How could there be a bad photo of a woman that looks this hot? When you look as good as Amy does, and only a handful of women in the world do, the odds are good that you are going to be a big star if you work at it. This is what happened when she started starring in movies in India. She became a huge star pretty much right away, and more directors asked her to be in movies. Recently she was in 4 movies in just 1 year. For her role in I, she did not even need to audition. But let's face it, would you ask Amy to audition if you were making a movie? I would just beg her to be in it and leave it at that. 10. Amy Jackson Can Rock Blue is the 5th movie that Amy was in and was directed by Shankar Shanmugam, who is the biggest and most famous director in India. He has been compared to Steven Spielberg. One does not think of an Indian movie having a lot of special effects, but this one does. The movie is 3 hours long and took 3 years to make. As you can see in the above photo, Amy has an amazing body, and is incredibly gorgeous as well. I wonder if this director could have finished the movie in around 6 months, but just chose to do so in 3 years because it meant he got to spend more time with Amy. Maybe I just have a guilty conscience, but I know if she was in my workplace I would not be in any hurry to go on to the next project. 9. She can rock a dress. One of the things about a woman like Amy is that they look just as hot in a dress as they do in a bikini. Amy would probably even look just as hot wearing a snowsuit, but I am not going to bother to try and find photos of her in one. I am having too much fun as it is. When it comes to her acting, her South Indian voice is often dubbed in, but she still had to learn her lines in Tamil, which is a language spoken in India, so it would look like she was saying the words on screen that people were hearing. How odd must that have been? She said, even my mannerisms had to change. I was very soft and gentle, and a typical South Indian lady. I wore brown contact lenses, which is crazy because all the big Bollywood stars wear green ones. 8. Amy laying on her stomach. So as you can see here, Amy looks fabulous no matter what she is doing. In fact, she looks so fabulous that when she is in India she needs to have bodyguards. She lives now in both England and in India. When in England she spends time at her sister's home in London. When she is in India she spends time in an apartment with a lovely view of the Arabian Sea in Bandra, Mumbai. She tends to cause a bit of a scene when she cruises around in India, so she has 2 rather enormous bodyguards, Adrian and Max, when she goes anywhere in India. What an odd life that must be, not being recognized by anyone in your home country, then being treated like a goddess in a country far from your true home. 7. By the sea. When one looks at this photo of Amy Jackson, it can truly take one's breath away. It isn't just that she is hot, it's that she has a classic, yet exotic beauty that is almost undefinable. To speak more of how she is treated like royalty in India, she has a whole group of personal assistants, or servants, depending on how you look at things. She has a personal assistant of whom she says, he wakes me up in the mornings and makes all my juices for me. Then she has 2 hair and makeup people and a stylist to make sure she keeps looking fabulous. She also has a driver and a housekeeper. Of the housekeeper she says, she helps with the cooking and cleans, but mum doesn't like it. One time I walked in and they were both cleaning the floor together. 6. The fitness guru. When one is as gorgeous as Amy is, and as you can see by this photo that she is truly gorgeous, and as rich and famous as well, it would be easy to think that she has no problems. But that would not be true, of course. Some people are kind of angry that a white woman has been cast as an Indian in movies and they give her a hard time. Many people on social media want to know why a foreigner who is nothing more than a fake and can't even speak Hindi is starring in an Indian film when there are so many different beautiful Indian women that could also play the role. One has to admit that they do have a bit of a point. It is odd having an English woman pretend to be an Indian woman in the movies, but when you are as hot as Amy is, that kind of thing is bound to happen. 5. Back in blue. Here is yet another amazing photo of Amy. She truly is flawless. I know that sounds a bit silly, but she really is. Once again, though, she has not had it totally easy in her role as the hottest woman in India. When it comes to the abuse heaped on her about playing an Indian woman in film, she says, everyone has an opinion. For me, as an actress you are playing a character, and to play that character you have to get into that mindset. I don't think it's any disrespect to any race. If people enjoy your movies, that's the most important thing. Oh Amy, of course people enjoy your movies. Let's be honest, people would enjoy your movies if your role were as a woman sitting in a chair staring at a wall the whole time. 4. Those eyes, though. Here is yet another photo of Amy and some of her very obvious attributes. One wonders how things like this even happen. How does a woman become so perfect in every way? Amy says that she thinks her life is pretty perfect, despite how odd it is. When in England she can roll down to the corner store to get some coffee, or just take a walk around, but in India she says, I don't really do any of that over there. This is because she basically has a huge crowd following her around pretty much wherever she goes when she is in India, while in England she is just like everybody else, assuming that everybody else is the most incredibly gorgeous woman that you have ever seen in your entire life. 3. Sitting idly by. When you look at photos like this of Amy, one sees a woman that could be a classic film star in any age. She has stunning beauty, it is true, but she also has a sort of class that women like Kate Upton could never have. Listen here again as she speaks to the difference between her life in her homeland and her life in India. She says, it's like two different worlds. Everything is calm at home and I'm just Amy, but in India the attention I get is unbelievable. People come up for pictures and autographs. They see that you're out in the crowd and then you can't move. That actually sounds totally scary. The pitfalls of being a woman who is arguably the most famous, and without a doubt the most gorgeous, woman in India. 2. From one of her movies. We have already established that Amy has class, and that she has a unique look, but there are some shots that just show off her body, and do so in a way that puts all her other attributes in the back of your mind. All of a sudden the thought of hundreds of Indian men crowding around her makes a bit more sense. What does she do when she gets in a crowd of rabid fans? She says, you stop and take selfies with them. I love it to some extent, but on your days off it can be a bit much. I probably had more than 1,000 letters from Indians since the film opened. Come on Amy, can you really blame them? I imagine after this article comes out you may get a few letters from a few dudes in Arkansas as well. 1. Frolicking in the Sun. Oh Amy, it sure has been fun writing this article about you and checking out all of these hot photos, but I'm not all that crazy about you that I would make a fool of myself. However, that does not go for the guys writing all of these letters. She says, a lot of the letters are from guys declaring their undying love. I do get marriage proposals, not official ones, obviously. They say, we've watched the film 6, 7, or 8 times. That's dedication. Man, that sure is crazy, some guy asking you to marry him that hasn't even met you. I would never do anything that is so totally pathetic like that. Unless you actually would consider marrying me, Amy. If so, let's do it, I have some time off later in the month. We can do it in Vegas.